Hey guys, this is AC Lock here with SoftWash Systems. I'm just really excited. We just got done loading up into this beautiful Ford Transit van right here. One of our latest configurations for our SoftWash skids. Now, some of you guys, and we use these skids a lot abroad. So if you're in the UK market or in the European market, we affectionately call this the Euro skid. But also too in Canada, here in North America, and then the northern states here in the United States, a van configuration skid like this can be very important and very key, because you're going to get probably some freezing temperatures and you want to be able to keep your equipment inside of a van, out of the weather, temperature controlled, because it might freeze overnight, but during the day it's going to be warm enough to clean. But that trip from your heated or cooled warehouse space to your first job, your equipment might freeze. So you get parts of the United States or even Europe where, you know, it's not cold enough to shut down for the winter, but it's cold enough that you got to protect the equipment at night, and this gives you that great option. Another great thing that it does here is some of you out there are running this as a home business and you don't have a place to park your truck, and you want to be able to protect your equipment. And our usual configuration in the back of a pickup truck might not be a great option because you're worried about theft, you're worried about somebody messing with your equipment, sabotage, things like that. Well, what we're going to be able to do with a van-mounted system like this is keep everything that you have, your skid, your ladders, your poles, all of your equipment, all of your supplies inside of a lockable van like this, and it just makes it so nice. So I'm going to take you to the eye candy part of this truck right away to show you exactly how different this configuration is, and that is the back end. So come on around over here. Now, you've probably seen the brochure on this, and we've been advertising this now for a few months, but this is the first one we've actually have now loaded up in a van to have this system out and delivered. So we want to show you exactly what it looks like, because in the digital world or doing Photoshop, it really didn't do it justice. You've really got to look at how this thing lays out in a van. Again, we got a Ford Transit here. This is a 1-ton van, 3,500 pound capacity, or over in Europe or in areas where you have the metric system, about 1,500 kilograms, okay? Right about in that range. So this is a heavy duty, very capable van, all right? Gonna go ahead and open up the doors here. So the first thing you're going to notice when you look at this is you open up the doors and all of your control panels, all of your hose reels, all of the user interface, the UI portion of this skid is right here at the back doors. So if you come in here nice and close, you'll be able to see that we took our typical mailbox configuration, and instead of doing individual mailboxes or individual enclosures for all the modules, we have one large enclosure for all three of your modules, and we have our standard SoftWash Systems 6X soft washing system here. Right next to it, we have our Rinse DC Plus, and then right next to that, we have our Phantom Shadow RODI 80 auto machine, all in the same enclosure. That gives you the ability to walk right up to your piece of equipment, right from the back here, right over the top of your hose reels, and turn on or off your systems and operate everything, change your valves. Really clean, real easy, right at the back of the truck. Then what we did is we went ahead and lowered the hose reels, got rid of our battery storage here on the back of the skid, and lowered the hose reels down here to where you can operate the hose reels right here from the back of the truck very easily. This configuration here allows you to just pop open these two doors and access everything that you need to access to do the cleaning operations of going out and soft washing at the sites. Beautiful. We've got our Stingray hose reels here. They're all color coded for what process each reel does. So you have a soft wash reel, your rinse reel, your power wash reel, and your pure water RODI reel here. Another thing I'm going to point out is, especially when you're looking in the Canadian market, the European market, the UK market, there are very specific motor vehicle laws and very specific weight capacities that are a little smaller or a little less than what we have to work with here in the United States. So when you're traveling, the weight that you're traveling with this vehicle for safety reasons has to be below a certain number. Well, the skid itself does not weigh a lot. What weighs a lot is the fluids that go in the skid. So in here will be sodium hypochlorite or bleach. There'll be soaps in here, but the prevailing thing that weighs a lot is the water that goes into this skid. Now, anywhere you go, you can get water. You can't get bleach anywhere. You can't get your soaps anywhere. You have to travel with those, but you don't have to travel with your water. So we've actually equipped this here on this switch on the rinse DC. If you put it in the #1 position, it activates a 10-gallon-a-minute dump pump, okay, and gives you the ability that if you forgot to go ahead and get rid of some of your excess water at the end of the job, forgot to turn off your residential garden hose going back to the machine, and you've got 30 gallons or so worth of water, which 30 gallons can be 280, sometimes as much as 300 pounds, depending on how much weight that you have, how many gallons of water that you have in the system, or liters if you're on the metric system. You're able to go ahead and discharge that water and drop that weight very quickly, very effectively, and get this vehicle down underneath travel weight, which is super important. The other thing is here in the States, we can get bleach very readily. You can pull up to a bleach supply. They pull out a hose. They fill your tanks. It's a lot easier to do here in the States. But possibly up in Canada, out in Europe, in England, some of the other countries that we sell this equipment, it's not as easy to get bleach. So if you notice here, we have a cam lock fitting right here with a ball valve. And what this allows you to do is to hook up a stinger hose to this and upload into the system from 5-gallon buckets or from 55-gallon drums, bleach into your system and fill your system with bleach through this port right back here on the back of the system. All of this business end right here behind these two doors here on the system. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close these two doors. And I want to take you around to the side of the trucks. Come on along this way with me. Now, depending on the gross vehicle weight rating, the spring package, the payload capacity of your van, this is the large Ford Transit. It has the high top roof on it. It has the extended wheelbase on it. This is a big van, all right? Depending on the size of your van and your weight capacity, we're going to mount the system a little differently behind or forward of the axle. We have the ability to do that. But let me show you some things that we've done to make the payload carrying ability of this system match the vehicles that it's going into. If you notice here, we have this great area that, let's say that you had a steam cleaning machine, a DOF, other types of cleaning equipment, or tools that you wanted to keep in this van. You notice that the skid stops right here. This is actually our 8-foot skid. It's not our 72-inch extra large skid. This is actually an 8-foot or 96-inch skid. Not exactly what that is in metric. I'm not super well versed at the metric on the measurements where I can just convert that quickly. But this is longer than our normal skid that goes in a pickup truck. And you can see we still have about 4 feet, a little over a meter by a meter here for extra storage here in these vans, which is super important. You'll notice right away, remember I talked about removing the batteries from the rear of the system to add the control panel and bring the hose reels down? We have brought the batteries here to this end of the skid. The reason why we've done that is these batteries weigh a lot. Each one of these batteries weighs about 80 pounds each. So all those together, these 5 batteries here, are 400 pounds all by themselves. We've brought that to the end of the skid to get it further up into the van to mitigate with that extra weight. We've also taken the tank configuration and we've brought in and we've put the bleach tank, the very first tank on the skid from this end of the skid. It's the very first tank. Then next to that is the osmosis water or the pure water tank. And then finally, the very rear tank, the tank that's going to weigh the most, is the water tank, the raw water tank. And that raw water tank there, it's the one that you can dump the weight from. So anything that weighs, any fluid, any of the equipment, any of the batteries, the stuff that weighs the most, we've put on this end of the skid to get it further up in the vehicle and between the wheels so that both axles are carrying the load. Now, if you have a shorter van, this skid will come further into the truck, okay? Or if you want to, we can load this skid all the way into the truck and put your cargo area at the rear of the vehicle. All right? So this is an 8-foot skid, and depending on what size van you get, we can bring it further in or further back and balance the load. All right? Why don't you jump up here in the van with me? I'm going to show you some other great things. All right, so one of the things when we had our typical pickup style or pickup truck style systems, we had a lot of the tanks and everything that if you had a van, like for instance, if this was a UK van, your sliding door would be on this side, and we'd put your controls on this side. In the US, the sliding door is on this side, and with our standard pickup truck ones, we could move the skid up and put your controls on this side. What we were able to do then is give you good access to the control panels, but getting to the saddle tanks or filling the bleach tank was a little bit of a pain in the butt. Well, the way that we've done this configuration now, we can pull in our hose to fill the bleach tank if you have a situation where you have a fill station for your bleach. Of course, if you want to, you can load it from the rear like I showed you. But when it comes to taking your 6X SoftWash Systems products and putting them in the individual saddle tanks and adding the water, it can be a little hairy getting to those if they were all on this side of the skid and you had a solid wall here. What we've done is we've split those two tank bays into 3 soap tanks on this side and 3 soap tanks on this side so that those are scoot as far forward as we can on the skids and you can get into them. So I can come in with my 6X products now and you can see right there I can get right to the lids of those saddle tanks, open it up, add my water, add my soap, and fill those 3 saddle tanks over here. In the same way, I can come over here now to this side of the system. The pressure washer is a little bit in the way, but I can easily get to my lids here. There's plenty of room here to get to my lids, unscrew my lids, and go ahead and add water, add our 6X products, and load this system and get it ready for a day's work. Something else that we've done is we've gone ahead and we've put the pressure washer here. Now, depending on where your door configuration is and all, you've got the muffler here for the exhaust for the pressure washer. It does have where it's going to off gas off the side here with your exhaust fumes. We put a diverter on this, and depending on the van that you're putting this system into, we put a diverter and an exhaust pipe on it to shoot the exhaust out of the van, and you would operate the pressure washer with the van doors open so air would flow freely through it and that hot exhaust wouldn't be touching any panels, melting anything, or heating up the inside of the truck. So the pressure washers right here, you have your unloader valve, you have your pressure gauge, so you can turn up or turn down the flow of your pressure washer and save some water, not create a deluge in an area that you're trying to clean. Your batteries for maintaining your batteries are all right here. Your charging systems are all mounted right to the side of the piece of equipment. Everything's easy to get to, all nice and compact. One of the things I want to show you guys, when you install some of these pure water systems in a van, if you look at like our competitor system, you would have to actually take off this end cap, and if you go to pull out your cartridge, you're going to hit the side wall with the cartridge. That was a problem that we had with some of these pure water systems when we were outsourcing that to other companies that built pure water. The reason why we brought our pure water in-house is we weren't seeing really good innovation taking place at some of the companies that built pure water equipment. One of those things was, how in the heck do you get the cartridge out of there? Well, with our cartridges, this actual phantom bracket right here just simply nut and bolts off right there. This whole bracket comes off, and you can take these cartridges and they will tilt up and turn, and you can remove your cartridge from the cartridge housing, and then you can take the next bracket off if you need to get to these here. It's literally just 4 nut and bolt combos, and you can lift out that cartridge housing, twist it your way, and pull those cartridges out when you need to maintenance your cartridges. That was a complete redesign that we did to make it simple. Everything on this skid fits in here. Notice also too, as you look towards the back door, you can see how much space we have between the top of the unit and the back doors on this high top van. You can very easily store your ladders, step ladders, water-fed pools, anything like that above the system. In fact, we have a rack that comes in and ties into the system that allows you to put all of that inside of here, very similar to the ladder track systems that we have on our truck bed mounted equipment. We can do ladder tracks in here, so you can have all those great mounting capacities for all the brackets and organizational tools and everything that we have for attaching to this system. This system's great, fits right in the back of the truck. This is going to open up an entire new market for those of you guys that are in colder environments, or possibly you're running this business out of an apartment or a rental house or your home, and you don't have the ability to store this in a warehouse or a garage. You can get one of these vans, put your whole system in here, and not have to worry about winterizing your system ever, or people stealing or messing with your equipment. All right, so give us a call. This is the latest thing out. Now you have a choice: truck bed mount or a van mount. And you don't have to settle for making a truck bed mount and converting it to a bed mount, to a van mount system. It's a van mount system now to begin with. The SoftWash Systems Euro Skid. Give us a call at SoftWash Systems so we can help you get into the soft washing business.